There are people right now walking out of hospitals holding information that doesn't feel real. They just heard the words, "Someone you love is going to die." And then the doors open, and the world just keeps moving. Cars pass, people laugh, someone checks their phone, and you're standing there thinking, what do you even do with that? We don't talk about this. We don't really talk about grief until it arrives. And the truth is, no matter who you love, a parent, a partner, a child, life makes a quiet promise. One day, you will have to say goodbye. Nobody wants that story. I didn't want mine to include losing my husband, especially not when we were still young. And the scariest part isn't just the loss, it's knowing that kind of pain is coming and having no idea how you survive it. I remember the moment everything changed. We were sitting on the couch, nothing special, just an ordinary day. He looked at me and said, "I feel a little weird, a bit dizzy. There's this tingling in my face." He shrugged it off. "It's probably nothing." But something in me said, "No, let's check." So we drove to the hospital. Within minutes, they rushed him in for an MRI. There was urgency in their voices, but we still didn't understand why. And then everything collapsed. It wasn't a stroke. His brain was full of cancer, more tumors than they even bothered counting. I walked out of that hospital knowing my husband was going to die, and something inside me broke in a way I didn't know was possible. A sentence formed in my mind, clear and cold. This isn't my planet anymore. It felt like I had slipped into another reality, like I was a ghost watching life continue without me. People were still living their lives, but I wasn't part of it anymore. I remember wondering, if I touch something, will my hand go through it? That's what grief feels like. Not just sadness, but disconnection from reality itself. When we got married, we made a promise. We said, when the universe began, I was holding your hand, and when the universe ends, I'll still be holding it. At the time, it felt poetic, but later it became something else, because science, strangely, offers a kind of comfort. Over 100 years ago, Albert Einstein wrote to the wife of a friend who had died. He said something that sounds impossible. The past, present, and future are persistent illusions. That time isn't something that flows and disappears. It's more like a landscape, everything existing at all once. Which means the moments you loved someone don't vanish. They still exist. Somewhere in the fabric of the universe, we're still laughing, still falling in love, still holding hands. And yes, he's still dying in my arms. All of it is real. All of it exists, but understanding that doesn't take away the pain. And this is the part no one prepares you for. You don't heal by avoiding grief. You heal by letting it break you completely. And that is terrifying, because it feels like stepping into a dark cave with no map, no light, and no guarantee you'll ever find your way out. But avoiding that pain, that's what traps people there. For the first time in my life, I had to face my emotions fully, not fix them, not escape them, just feel them. And I kept wondering, why don't we talk about this more? Why do we let people walk into grief completely alone? Everyone quietly asking themselves, am I doing this right? The truth is, there is no right, so we all end up reinventing the wheel. But I found something unexpected. Tools, not solutions, but tools. Poetry, music, science, art. things people often call useless until you're faced with something unbearable. They don't remove the pain, but they give you something just as important, a way to carry it. I still feel the loss, and I don't want it to disappear, because that pain is proof that love existed. Instead of erasing it, I'm learning to weave it into who I'm becoming. There's a Japanese art form where a broken vase is repaired using gold. The cracks aren't hidden, they're highlighted. And somehow, the vase becomes more beautiful because it was broken. That's what I'm trying to do with my life. Not go back to who I was, but rebuild into someone new. Because here's the truth, nothing is guaranteed. Not endless suffering, not happiness either, but possibility still exists. You might find love again. You might rediscover joy in unexpected places. You might even smile again. A few weeks after he died, I was working on a space mission, sampling material from an asteroid, and something strange happened. For a moment, I felt excitement. I smiled, not because the grief was gone, but because something inside me was still alive, still curious, still reaching. And that's when I understood. You don't move on from grief. You move with it. You carry it, and slowly you learn to live again. So if you're in that place right now, that dark, confusing, unbearable place, just know this. The pain won't disappear overnight, but there is a path forward. And sometimes all you need to do is take one step.